everybody, thanks for joining me today on my channel. My name is Chris with Kristen's Crafts, and today I am bringing you day 3 of December Documented. And so I thought I'd kind of share with you one of my revelations that I came up with today. You don't have to put every picture you take in the album. So this morning I'm going through all the photos I took yesterday of the Christmas celebration that we went to. You know, they had the parade. My husband and I and my sister went to the winery to watch the parade. And I might say that is the best location, inside in the warmth, sitting with a glass of wine, watching a parade. We walked around downtown. We saw the lights. We saw the tree. My daughter and son-in-law were there with the 3 grandkids, and so I have pictures of them. And it was very hard for me to choose what pictures I wanted, and I wanted them all big. And then I reminded myself, I don't need them all, and I don't need them huge, because of the fact that these are going to also go into my 12 by 12 album as my year. So I tell the story of my 12 by 12. This for me is a snapshot of what we did for the month. And you have to remind yourself, if you're doing it like I am, it's a snapshot. Grab those favorite photos that tell the story. You don't need every one. And then you can go and put the other stories or scrapbook everything again in your main albums if that's what you do. I overscrap, I overshare. I can't throw away a picture. So for me, that's how I do it. I do this and it goes into the big family album. So today we are going to use the tiny little squares, and I will probably do both sides. So let me go ahead and put this to the side. Now what I also have is my daughter sent me these gorgeous photos of the grandkids. So these I did want to highlight and make them bigger. Now I'm not going to put them into an album, and I'm just going to put the We Are Memory Keeper sticker tabs on here to make my little tab to spread it out. However, I put them in that one location that's supposed to be really safe, where I would always find them. And I can't find them. I've searched high and low. So I just placed an order for 2 new ones. And so I am going to not put them in right now. I have these printed and ready to go. My plan is to just adhere them together. And then I'm going to put the tabs on. So they'll be on here. And then I'll put probably a number 3 to represent day 3. And that's how they'll go in the book. And then they'll just flip. But I'm going to hold off on putting any tabs in until I get those. So, or the other thing, now thinking, if I want to get this done, I can still reinforce it with tabs later. But let's do the other version. Since we don't have these now, let's grab some pattern paper and we're going to make our own tabs. So for those of you that don't want to spend the money for the clear tabs, we can do something that will go in the book that will work just the same. All you're really wanting is something that you can put through to where you can put your whole tabs in. So I just need something that's basically a 1/4 inch further out than the photos. And you can pick any color you want. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and mat these on the white so that there's a 1/4 inch. But then I think I'm going to run washi tape down each side. This way it doesn't interfere with the photos. So let's just go ahead and do that. So let me go ahead and run adhesive on this one. And again, I'm just going to run it so that there is a little more than a 1/4 inch. Actually, wait, before I do that, let me pick my washi And then I'll make sure that whatever is the washi will be how far out it sticks. Because these are 5x7 photos, so I've got some room to play, because since it's a 6x8 album, I've got basically like an inch. So I kind of like this. It kind of represents everything that was there. There was a petting zoo. There was Santa came. It's bright. It's fun. It's cheery. Plus the red will go with the red bag that was from yesterday. I'm just trying to line this washi up so it looks good. And I will trim off the edges. And this kind of wishy-washy undecisiveness is how I scrapbook. You're just verbally seeing it. Normally, this would have been edited out and voice-overed, and you would have never heard me hemming and hawing over how I'm going to do it. All right. So let's go ahead and line that one up as well. Now, if you wanted, you could probably do different washi on each side. I just figure since this way, it's the same width on each side. So when I do my hole punching, I am good. And I was watching Allie Edwards today, and or was it yesterday? I don't know, my days are running. I think it was today. And she had a large photo, and she used her 3-hole punch. And then it reminded me, I'm like, as I was trying to do it with my little small one, I have a 3-hole punch. So I'm just going to check and make sure that my holes line up the same as the photo sleeve, which I think it does. It does, yay. So I can just go ahead and 3-hole punch this. But let me first get this on the photo on here so I can trim off the excess. And you can see, wait a minute, gotta go this way. You can see that the white paper doesn't go all the way to the back. It doesn't matter because that's not gonna, I'm gonna cut this off and this isn't gonna show because I'm just using it so I can reinforce this section here. So let's go ahead and get some adhesive on Carter. And we'll line him up. So this way, when I go and hole punch, it's not going to hole punch the babies. And let me go ahead and trim this off. All right, so now I've given it a little bit of extra oomph where now it can go in. It's got some extra color in here. And now I just have to line it up where I want it. And now I'm hole punched. And that's going to stay out for the month. All right, so now when it goes into the book, it'll have the bag. And then what I'd done is off camera, I had this large cutout of Santa and the reindeer. And I just thought, yeah, we'll have Santa flying over top. So then the picture of the kids will go in. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the squares as my photo to show. And it's going to be both sides, because I do have a lot of photos. And I think in between, I am going to go and put some, maybe some sequins pockets. So what I'm going to do so that you don't have to watch this whole process, I'm going to put you on fast forward. I've got to have my, I use one of the, if I can find my little thing. I have one of the We Are Memory Keepers fuse tools. And it takes a little while for this to warm up. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward. I'm going to let this warm up, figure out where I'm going to put all the photos. So I printed out a whole bunch of 2x2 photos. I don't want to fill up every square. So I just need to figure out how many I want on each of the front and the back. And then whatever doesn't have a photo on the front and the back will have a sequence pocket. All right, so I'm going to put you on pause for a minute. We're going to get going, and I'll fast forward you, and we'll come back live when we're done. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is cut apart these photos. I printed them into a 4x6, so they're actually a 2x2 square, and I'm going to start separating these out and putting two piles. One is for the pictures that I took when I was in the winery, and the other pile is for those that were taken outside when we were walking around downtown. And I'm just kind of trimming them up and going to figure out where I want them. And I just kind of want to sprinkle them around because I know that in the pockets that don't have photos, I'm going to make my shaker pockets. So I went ahead and I've got them all divided up. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start figuring out what pockets I want what pictures to go in. Again, I'm just going to kind of stagger them and just kind of going with what looks good, making sure that the photos are trimmed down so that they will fit in the pockets. When I flip them over, for whatever reason, some of these were not fitting into, like they weren't exactly a 2x2. So I did have to go in and trim some of them up. I just want to make sure for the most part that there's not a lot of white showing from the other side of the photos. So I'm just kind of cleaning them up and making sure that how I have them in is what looks good. I'm not real worried about it being perfect. Nothing I do is really going to be perfect. And you do want to show that it's homemade, but I just want it to avoid as much duplicate as possible or white showing as possible. And what I did was I had two photos that I kind of left out and making sure I have an even number of pictures on the front and on the back. And I ended up having one of the outside and one of the winery still left over. So I was able to get all of those photos into the pockets. And I'm just kind of arranging them. I was having trouble with the one picture not wanting to come out of the pocket. So they are definitely in. And trimming off a little bit more there. Just using up the last of those photos. Now, when I get done with getting my photos everywhere I want them and getting all the excess paper cut off, then the next thing I'm going to do is make a journaling card. I didn't want to have too much bulk in the book, and I thought if I added an extra tag for journaling, it's just going to add more to the book. So I decided to take one of the squares right in the center, and I'm going to make a journaling spot in both the front and the back so that I can write about what we did in the winery and then also write about meeting up with my daughter and my grandkids and walking around the town as well. So I'm just kind of moving the pictures around, making sure that I have them, the pockets spread out how I want them, knowing that I'm going to be making the shaker pockets too. And trimming down, I think this is the last one I'm trimming down, getting that back in. And now I'm pretty happy with where I have all of the photos. So now the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and make those journaling spots. And I decide that I'm going to mat it on some of my Doodlebug paper that I used in a previous, on the tags from the previous page. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that Doodlebug paper and cut it down to a 2x2 square. And I'm just going to use my little Creative Memories trimmer for that. And this is what I love also about December Daily is I'm able to use so many of my scraps in small pieces because you're doing smaller, little mats and things. It's a great way of using up these scraps in the smaller paper pads. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the white paper on, and it will just have that little bit of a red border. On the front page where we have the photos of the winery, I am going to glue down my number 3 wood veneer for day number 3. And on here, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write about the fact that my sister and my husband and I had a lovely evening at the winery where we were able to have dinner, have a glass of wine, and be able to watch the parade from inside through the window. It's very nice when you can, don't have to worry about having the little kids and getting the candy from the parade. You can actually enjoy watching it from the warmth of a winery. So that's kind of what I'm writing about in there. And once I have that done, then I'm going to go and work on the back page. And I'm just taking this Simple Stories little tab that's in the green and the red, putting that up in the corner. And now I'm writing about how after the parade was over, we went down and walked around town to see the lighting of the Christmas tree, see Santa, and meet up with my daughter and the grandkids. And what a lovely time that we had doing this small town event. I'm going to go ahead and slide that into the pocket. So those are all done. Now the last thing I need to do is make my shaker pockets. So I'm taking this package of sequins that I got from, this was from Peachy Cheap. I bought a kit set that had Simple Stories stickers, paper, and journaling cards in it. And then it also came with this pack of sequins and a pack of snowflakes. And I'm just filling it up with these red sequins and green glittery trees. And I'm going to put them into the pockets that are remaining. And then I will use my fuse tool to seal up the packaging. Just make sure that when you use it, you use a Teflon paper or a glass mat, something that will protect your surface. The heat tool is very hot, so you want to make sure that, you don't burn the edges or yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this next one out. And I just make sure that I don't overfill the pockets. You want enough that it will look full, but will still have room to shake. So I'm just trying to not overfill them and get it all in. And then when I'm sealing up the pocket, I try and move it all down as much as possible, move them out, the sequins out of the way, and make sure I've got a good seal on it, and then move on to the next one. And it just adds such a fun touch to these pages, and it really doesn't take much. I know that some people will use like a sewing machine and sew the pocket closed. I know others have used washi to seal it closed. I really like my fuse tool, but I only use it once a year. But this is what I use it for. So the last thing I want to do is add a little bit of embellishment to the 5x7 photos. I wanted to put something up here where the car is in the background of the photo of Carter. So on here in the Echo Park sticker sheet, I was able to find the word joy. I'm going to go ahead and put that up in the corner there. And I looked to see if there's anything else that I want to add to it. And I decided it was simple. It was a perfect touch, and I didn't need anything more. I did find this word phrase sticker that said cheer. So I thought that would be great on one of the photos of the winery. And then the next thing I want to do is find something to go in the upper right-hand corner where the Christmas tree is, or in the bottom corner where, Dylan's clothing is. It just needed something on the page, but not a lot. So I'm flipping through both of these books, and I didn't see anything that I really liked. Then I'm going to pull out my 12x12 sticker sheets to see if I can find anything there. Nothing that was what I felt was the right colors or the right mood and feel for the photo. So then I end up going into my composition book, and this is just covered with wax paper, Reynolds wax paper, good wax paper. I used my ATG gun to adhere the wax paper down. The stickers are just stuck in, and the die cuts, I just have one of those little photo square stickers holding them in place. I was able to find 2 ornaments that I thought worked perfect up there. And then I decided that that was more than enough. So once I have these ornaments on, I'm going to come back live for you in just a minute, and we'll finish talking about the layout. Okay, I think I'm done. You know, I could sit there and try and add more. I was thinking about adding something here or another title, but again, I don't want to add too much bulk, and I want to make sure that the pictures still take center stage. So I think between the washi and then having the ornaments up here, the focus is still on the kids. I kind of just wanted to fill in a little bit of the space, the dead space of the tree, but still have the lights of the tree showing. And I did think I could put something down here, but I think something here and something here is too much. So I'm going to leave that alone. And then for Carter, where he had the, there was that car in the background, just putting the word joy takes the focus away from the car and kind of covers that up. So I'm happy with how that turned out. And then again, kind of staying simple. I did write cheer. This is a picture. So if you can see this, what I did was I put everything that was the winery on this page. So I have a picture of my husband and I in front of the tree. My husband had gone outside and took a picture of me and my sister through the window. So we had front row seats to the parade, just sitting in the winery. And then obviously did my shaker pocket here. I had taken a picture of my wine, my sister's wine, and my husband doesn't drink, so he had his Coke there. And then with the wreath, so you got the feel of the winery there. I wanted a journal, but I didn't want to add extra tags in. So what I did was took one of the spots and just did my journaling about the winery in here with the number 3. And then again, filled in. So again, there's a picture of us through the window. Another picture of like our little hors d'oeuvres that we got. My husband inside the winery. His niece always laughs because my husband is just a plain guy. He doesn't like anything scary for food, and he doesn't drink. So I took a picture of him in the winery and sent it to my niece and just said that, her uncle was getting out of his box, as she called it, and was actually going to a Christmas parade at a winery. And so it was just kind of a funny joke. And then there's a picture of my sister Lori and another one of the 2 of us together in front of the tree in the winery. And again, this picture turned out really good of her. And so I probably will scrapbook some of these larger photos, but you get the feel if you're going through just the December book of what we did that night. The other thing I tried to do is make sure that the pictures were trimmed equal so that you didn't get as much of the white. They're not perfect. My books are not perfect. Somebody had said once that you can tell something is homemade by it not being perfect, and that has more meaning. So then I did journaling about the parade on the back side, just put a little bit of color. So like here's where all the fire department vehicles were coming down the road. There was a picture of me and my husband in front of the town tree. The grandkids were having fun with their grandpa, sitting on his feet and pretending they were his shoes. And he was trying to walk with them hanging on. Another nice picture of my sister Lori in front of the tree. There was a picture of me sitting in front of one of the other restaurants in town with their painted window. My husband took this picture of my daughter and the kids walking down the street. So it was a good family photo of them enjoying the Christmas parade. This is a picture of the winery from the outside. And then I did get a picture of Santa Claus in between him seeing all the kids. So I was pretty happy with a full night of photos that with the 2x2, I was able to get a lot of it told in the book. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Today I have grandkids that are coming over that are going to help me with decorating the Christmas tree and getting ornaments up. But most importantly, they're helping with putting up the Christmas train. So tomorrow or tonight's photos that I'll do tomorrow will probably have a lot to do with that and the importance of, you know, this is one of our traditions that we do with the Christmas train, and I'll be talking about that. So thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you are all having a good holiday season and enjoying the festivities, and may you all be blessed, and we will see you tomorrow.